Hello, my name is Andy and I am the Village Idiot. I'm armed with a car and a GoPro and an unhealthy amount of time on my hands. I'm using that time to attempt to visit every civil parish in England. You're watching the Rutland series. Rutland is the smallest county in the East Midlands and has some 57 parishes to its name. Without further ado, let's get walking around one of them. Welcome back to Rutland, everybody. Now this is one I know I'm going to enjoy because in the drive-in, which you're about to see, I saw plenty of things that I just love in an English village. And to be honest with you, I think this is probably the quintessential English village. This is Market Overton. Here's my disclaimer for people who may be watching me for the first time. I say things as I would in my native accent and dialect. As a result, I may not pronounce things in the same way as the locals do. Remember, I'm a visitor. It's impossible to know everything. Leave me a comment, spin me a like and bash that subscribe button. Let's get to today's parish video. This week in Rutland, we take on Market Overton, one of the prettiest villages in the whole country in my opinion. Formed of two elements, originally Market Overton was just called Overton, which means farm or settlement on or by a ridge. Market was added in around the year 1200, when the place was granted a market charter. This would turn it into an early market town, although these days it's just a village again. This is some village though. It's located on the eastern side of an escarpment overlooking the Vale of Catmose, an area that's regularly flooded by Rutland Water. It has a crazy amount of gorgeous stone buildings all around its centre, a lot of which are thatched. In terms of industry, one commodity for which Market Overton can say it's famous for would be ironstone. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, it was mined here and transported away by railway. Speaking of fame, how about famous people? Market Overton has had a few of those. The most notable was born in the village in 1623, Hannah Askew, who was the mother of Sir Isaac Newton. Also, the regicide Thomas Waite was believed to have been the son of a former village pub landlord, and William Kitchen Parker, the zoologist, worked as a druggist's assistant to the village's doctor. Amenities-wise, it has a church, a shop, a pub and a surgery, as well as two sports clubs, one for cricket and the other for bowls. It's got it all. Let's get walking. Our start point is a bus stop on Main Street. Market Overton is served by the R2 Rutland Flyer, which runs between Oakham and Melton Mowbray. Right in the village centre, that bus stop is opposite what used to be a post office. The building still has a George V postbox in its wall, unusually coloured grey instead of red. Next door is the Market Store. This is the village's community shop, which has been here since May 2010. On the wall of the shop, there's a parish notice board, and Market Overton is in the books. 3 down, 54 to go in Rutland. On the corner where this shop is located, there's also the village's pub, and it's called the Black Bull. Built of stone with a glorious thatched roof, this was formerly a Ruddles and Everard's pub, faithful to its roots as a traditional local, where people can wander in with walking boots and dogs. It does good food too, apparently. Our next major landmark is the church, and complete with its attractive bunting, here's its lit gate. Right, so no prizes for guessing what's next then. We're going to go through the lit gate and into Market Overton's church. This looks very, very attractive in the summer sunshine, doesn't it? With the bunting and the little gate, I suppose. There's a war memorial's poppy wreath down there in this corner. I think this is going to be fantastic. Let's go through and see what it's like. The Church of St Peter and St Paul has some of the best examples of Anglo-Saxon and Gothic architecture in the country, as well as some 13th and 14th century additions. Its features include a sundial, which is said to have been given by Sir Isaac Newton. His mother, Hannah Askew, was born here in 1623, and his grandmother also once lived in the village too. The tower here incorporates a Saxon cross, and the tower arch has been called in the past the only worthwhile piece of Anglo-Saxon architecture in Rutland. The church has some Roman connections too, albeit indirectly. There's a stile in the wall of the churchyard which is believed to be made from a stone carving originating from Roman times. It's known there was a Roman temple of some kind in the field next to the church. Leaving the churchyard now, there's a street with the lovely name of Berry Bushes. This will take us back towards the village centre via the village green, and this was my favourite part of this walk. So while we amble along Berry Bushes, which is nothing more than just a residential street really, I can tell you a little bit about this run of 5 in Rutland that I'm currently doing. Thistleton, which you saw last week, was the only linear route. Everything else is a nice neat circle, and there isn't really much in the sort of outer extremities of these villages. They're just normal sort of circular routes with everything clustered into one particular area. It's a good thing. This is the kind of village I like doing, quite frankly, because it means I don't have to mess about running around all over the place with the car. It's helpful for me. Okay, Berry Bushes has now become a little bit more interesting. Look at these houses here, wisteria cottages. Aren't these beautiful? Look at this. It's the same story on the other side of the road. They're all made of that sort of stone, aren't they? It's not brick, and they look really old as well. I would say, at a guess from what I've seen before, probably 17th century or later. Beautiful. I love Rutland, I really do. It would be easier to tell you what properties around the village green are not listed buildings. Built in 1861, the manor house is the tallest and most dominant of them all. Also around the green are several thatched cottages and the village's other former pub, the Three Horseshoes Inn. The village green was probably once the location of the medieval marketplace, although records show it began originally in a field next to the church. The market was very popular by all accounts, making Market Overton quite important locally. Whatever the case for the market, the modern green features a set of stocks with a whipping post. The green also provides you with a detailed history of the village by way of this information board too. Let's move south now, down Main Street again, as we head towards the village hall. Here's the phone box, still with a working phone, which is tucked away by the side of the road. This stands opposite the impressive early 18th century Market Overton house. This is one of those villages where the camera is on more than it's off, because everything around you is just absolutely gorgeous. And this is going to continue. We're going to follow this road down to the bottom where it takes a left turn, and we're heading up towards Pinfold Lane and to the sports area. We'll be crossing that sports area and then coming back towards the village centre along the main road. So there's not a lot left on this route, to be fair, but if it's all like this, it's going to be well worth it. In front of us now is the Old Hall, an irregularly built 17th century house with 2.5 storeys. After the road bends towards Barrow, you come to the Village Hall. Now this is not the only village hall Market Overton has ever had. In 1902, there was a gentleman's reading room on Berry Bushes, which was extended to form the original village hall. It eventually became a school, which closed in the 1970s. The modern village hall has a very large sprung dance floor, and it can cater for 120 people at full capacity. Next we go up Bowling Green Lane, which cannot be used for access to Market Overton's industrial estate if you're in a lorry. There's some more coming on that shortly. It's pretty obvious though why lorries can't use this road. Most of Market Overton's streets are quite narrow, and as such the average trucker wouldn't fancy their chances along Bowling Green Lane. Nor would they along Pinfold Lane, although this is a dead end anyway. Mind you, it does take us towards the village's sports area. Now, was there ever a better British thing than cricket in the summertime? Here off Pinfold Lane, you can see the cricket square. And this is what I think makes Market Overton quintessentially English. This view right here. You can see the cricket pitch, some houses in the background. The only thing that's missing really is the church. When you think about it, you see that typical sort of scene where you've got cricketers on the pitch with a church in the background. That's all you really need to make it quintessentially English, in my opinion. Anyway, we're going to head across this. There's a entrance to this somewhere, I don't know where. We'll head across towards the pavilion and out onto the main road, which you can see beyond it, and then walk back down to the village centre. Well, it appears the only way to get onto the cricket pitch is by going down here, which is not ideal. This is very steep, wouldn't recommend it, but it is part of the route, so I've got to do it. So wish me luck. Hopefully I can get down there in one piece and we can get across the cricket pitch. Market Overton Cricket Club were founded in 1950 and currently field 2 open age teams in the Leicestershire League on Saturdays and 1 team in the Grantham and Melton League on Sundays. The club has a licensed bar and social club too, and the whole thing is run by a team of more than 35 volunteers. On the same track that leads to the cricket club are Market Overton and Summerby Surgeries, who support almost 5,000 patients across the village and the surrounding areas. Over the road is Ironstone Lane. This leads to the industrial estate, which is built on a former ironstone mine. Ironstone was mined here between 1906 and 1972 by James Payne Limited, who later became Stewart's and Lloyd. Nearby, on the road to Thistleton, this line of brick cottages were built for the mine's workers. After passing these, we find ourselves back on Bowling Green Lane, and here's the Bowls Club, whose team primarily compete in the Stamford and District Bowls League. Well, there's no doubting, if cricket's not your sport, bowls certainly should be if you live in a village like this. Market Overton has both, and isn't it a fantastic little place? I don't really want to leave this one, I'll be honest with you, but I've got to move on to the next one. Let's head back to the car, and here comes today's rest off section. On the outskirts of the village is the Lodge Trust, which describes itself on its website as Christian provision for adults with learning disabilities. It sits within the more than 20-acre Lodge Park, an area of parkland just off the road to Barrow. Effectively a care home complex, the site offers residential living and social and therapeutic activities for up to 30 residents. There are 4 houses and 13 independent living flats, each having their own identity and individual character. This beautiful location means it has an abundance of space for walking, bike riding, and a general enjoyment of the countryside. To help fund itself and support the adults it looks after, it has a cafe and a shop open to the public. This is open every weekday from 2 until 4 p.m. This serves hot and cold drinks, ice cream and homemade cakes, and there's also a selection of products and seasonal produce and plants, which are all made and grown on site by the residents. It's dog friendly, and there's a children's playground too. And you'll pass that as you drive out of the village to the south towards Barrow. It's on the left hand side as the road turns sharply to the right. I genuinely didn't want to leave this village. I thought it was great, but there are plenty more to cover in Rutland, so let's see if anything else can beat it. See you later, folks. Thanks for watching this video, folks. Don't forget to like this episode if you haven't already. It really makes a difference with YouTube. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, and give us a share too if you've got friends who'd like it. You can find all the links to my social media accounts below, as well as my Buy Me a Coffee page where you can donate to the channel. Also, if you've enjoyed this episode, have a look at some more videos in this series. Until next time, I've been Andy, also known as the Village Idiot, and I'm out.